let's assume that you are responsible for coordinating the logistics for Coca-Cola in Brazil. And one of your tasks is to order the syrup needed to produce Coca-Cola in the month of June. You have received the forecast for June, and that calls for 68 barrels of syrup. Now, from experience, you know that the sales forecasts tend to be on the high side. So based on the last 10 years of sales, you have calculated an average of only 57 barrels of syrup are actually consumed in the month of June. So the question is, can we use a confidence interval to kind of challenge the forecast that we have received? And secondly, is the confidence interval, is that the right kind of method, or are there any pitfalls we need to look out for? If we start with the first question, let's go to the blueprints here. Um, the question here is it an average or is it an intensity? Intensity is very much like the average. It's just that we have a time dimension also. And clearly that is the case here because we are, you can say we have 57 barrels here based on 10 years of sales history. So clearly we have the intensity here. That leaves us with very few options, so this is simple. So from here, I will just jump straight into the Stadlearn calculator that you can just grab it for free if you haven't already got it. You can download it from the web page or the home page. If we go into Stadlearn, let me go to the menu here. Yeah, you will see that there is a long list of different analyzers, and down here in 3.1 you'll find the one called 3.1b, which is for the intensity. That is the same as average together with time. So click here, and in whenever you have something about the intensity, then N is the amount of periods that you have used to obtain the average. It sounds perhaps a bit like a black box, but it's just think of it this way. We have used 10 years of history to get to our 57 average of syrup, right? So I'm going to show you here. If we go back to here, we have used 10 years of sales history, and so we have 10 observations here to get to an average of 57 barrels of syrup. So we will just put in 10 here, and we'll just put in 57 here. Nothing is mentioned about the confidence level, so we'll just keep it at the default 95%. I've defined I've defined the barrels of syrup needed in June here in Brazil under the variable. Always remember to define the variable when you do analysis in statistics. This is very important because if you haven't defined the variable, we'll not know what the conclusion is. So that is quite fundamental. Here we have the model. It says it's a Poisson distribution, and we are approximating it over to the normal distribution. And the rule for doing so is what you have down here. I've been so kind to to calculate it for you here, so it's automatically done. If you have the calculator, just punch in the numbers, and it will tell you whether or not the rule here is met. We have the formula here that gives us the set value, and that set value is part of the formula here. You can see it's here. It's this part here. So if we add the numbers we have here with the set value we have here into this formula here, we are getting a lower limit of about 52 and an upper limit of 62. So this tells us basically that there is a 95% probability that the average demand of syrup or barrels of syrup in June is at maximum 62. So when sales is forecasting 68, it seems to be on the slightly higher side than what we have been used to. So this way we could challenge sales and say, well, there is a very low probability that we are going to get as high as you are suggesting. So this brings me to the next question, the second question, and that is about the pitfall for using this kind of analysis. And there is a clear pitfall, and I'm sure you have already guessed that it's a bit difficult to do this kind of analysis if we have trending data, right? So if our data goes like up through the roof like this, I would not be so comfortable using a confidence interval. But if we, on the other hand, have something relatively stable, this could be a quite a good way of challenging the estimate that we have got from sales.